I think the pieces in The Unborn and Undead show how reproductive health has been controlled by power and inequality. When I look at them together, it's clear that people's choices have been limited for a long time. I believe that before we can change anything, we have to recognize that not everyone has equal access or a voice. When gender is oversimplified, it becomes easier for people in power to control others' bodies. If we understood gender as more complex, these conversations could be more fair and more honest. Even before Roe was overturned, healthcare wasn't quite equal. The reading explains how power and politics shaped that. It also shows how gender is often reduced to simple categories, which ignores real experiences. If we moved away from strict female male thinking, conversations about bodily autonomy would be less judgmental. This topic is personal to me. My friend went through this and it showed me how hard access can be. She traveled from Tennessee to Kentucky just to get care. That made me realize how much location and politics affect people's lives. I think Baker encourages people to talk about their expectations without fear. She shows that listening is really important, especially with emotional topics. Instead of arguing, she believes people should slow down and hear each other. When people feel heard, conversations become more understanding and respectful. Baker says people should be able to share their abortion experiences openly. She believes listening is the first step to understanding. Instead of judging, people need to actually communicate. When my friend told me her story, the best thing I could do was listen. She trusted me, and it wouldn't have been right to judge her. I think if more people listened, conversations would be better. I think Colbert predicted what was going to happen politically. She focuses on collective action instead of relying on the courts. She explains that giving power back to the states creates different laws everywhere, which can be unfair. She also warns about issues like surveillance and travel restrictions. Her message encourages people to stay informed and prepared. Colbert said Roe versus Wade would be overturned, and she was right. She called for activism and people working together. She explained that laws would vary by state, which limits people based on where they live. Can't imagine how my friend must have felt having to travel to another state. She had to find a ride and pay for everything. It wasn't fair that she had to go through that alone. The history of forced sterilization shows how unfair the laws can be. The government decided some people shouldn't have children, which is wrong. Even though it's illegal now, it still raises questions on how much control people have over their bodies. It shows how power can be used to control certain groups. The Supreme Court allows sterilization in Buck versus Bell. Over 60,000 people were affected. This shows how the system supported controlling people's bodies. Even today, there are still concerns in places like prison. I think it's really messed up when people were treated that way. They didn't get a choice, and that should never happen. People should always have control over their own bodies. Abortion and sterilization are connected because both deal in control over reproduction. They both relate to bodily autonomy, which gets to make decisions. When society controls these choices, it usually creates more inequality. I think we need to keep talking about this so things can become more fair. Colbert explains that people can't fully make decisions about their bodies when access is restricted. Unfit shows that certain groups have been targeted. Both issues show how control leads to inequality. Imagine needing a life-changing surgery but being denied because of your gender. That's similar to this issue. Shows how unfair the system can be and why people need to speak up about it.